was that?
An emergency at 3,000 feet in and out of IMC.
Right.
It was my first lesson for my instrument rating. And the engine kept on stuttering.
It's getting worse. Okay.
I thought it was going to stop at any minute.
We are diverting direct to Elmsett in the climb charge at 3,000 feet, not declaring a pan.
I'll debrief the flight, look at my own reaction and performance on the day. I was actually quite shaken by what happened. I was glad to get on the ground, being perfectly frank with you. And you won't believe what was causing the engine to keep faltering.
None of us could believe it. None of us could believe it could be something as simple as that.
Well, hello my friends. I've just flown into Earl's Cone, where it's all nice and quiet because it's still early days. They're just about to start opening up. Why am I here so keenly this morning? Well, this is the day that the instrument rating training, the actual practical part of it, the fun bit of it, begins. It was my first flight on the CBIR course with Nigel Wilson, head of training from Anglian Flight Centres, and the plan was for me to fly under the hood to Cambridge to practice some instrument holds, an ILS and an RMP approach. The whole point of today was for Nigel to assess my skill level so that he could then tailor the lessons going forward for the next few weeks.
You're writing lots of notes there, Nigel. We've not got going yet.
It's fine, it's alright. It's just stuff to talk about afterwards. It's nothing that you're doing wrong, it's just that it needs to be different for the IR, that's all.
I don't know if you've noticed, ladies and gentlemen, how stressful this feels in the cockpit.
And unbeknown to me at the time, the stress levels were only going to get worse. We took off.
60, start to ease it up.
I put on the hood and I began my mostly simulated flight in IMC towards Cambridge.
Do you find good things to say as well, Nigel? Don't make it. Don't.
It's fine. Stop worrying.
The first sign of any trouble was when, using the GPS navigator to fly the full ILS procedure, it lost integrity, leaving me with no positioning information at all.
Terrain. System not available.
We've got some problem with that. Well, that was my intercept angle. The needle is where I've lost the needle.
That's gone now. Is that
Completely gone? We've got
Should be there.
We've got this. What does that mean?
Ground speed.
Ground speed.
Oh, there we go. GPS navigation lost. Look.
No GPS because we're dead reckoning.
Okay. Right.
Well, we can't do that then.
Let's come round to the right. Let's head 090. Golf India Victor. We've lost GPS capability, so request radar vectors to the ILS when ready.
Golf India Victor, roger, thanks. Just confirm, it's radar vector to the ILS, confirm.
Yeah, radar vectors to the ILS, please. We've lost GPS at the moment. We're currently altitude 3,000. I believe we are about 3 miles northeast of the airfield.
Hey, firm, 2 miles northeast of the airfield at this time, and confirm you'd like to leave the hold now for the approach. Do you require any further assistance?
Negative, we're happy. We are happy to leave the hold now and take vectors to the ILS. Golf India Victor.
Golf India Victor, all copies, thanks. Hold cancelled, then fly heading 090 degrees, vectoring ILS 23.
Hold cancelled, fly heading 090 and vectors ILS 23, Golf India Victor.
Now the GPS did come back and then it went again and it came back again. It just kept losing integrity at exactly the same spot every time we overflew it. Later, another pilot told me they had the same problem with their Garmin navigator in exactly the same area. And then up popped this news report from Cambridgeshire Police who said that criminals have been using sophisticated jamming equipment to try and hide their cache of stolen cars to the west of Cambridge Airport. Now, could have been a coincidence, but it is a credible theory, I think, as to why our equipment was losing integrity in this area. But losing GPS was only a minor inconvenience for us today, and we managed without it. But after completing our approaches at Cambridge and heading back to the east, we found ourselves with another, more serious problem to contend with. And we'll see what happens in just a second. But first, some important news from AOPA UK. AOPA's Martin Robinson has shared some concerning news coming from government. He says that the UK Department for Transport has confirmed that it has no plans to support policy development for general aviation in the UK. Instead, it has decided to focus on the expansion of Heathrow Airport, sustainable aviation fuels, regional airports and drones. GA is absent from the government's agenda entirely, it seems. AOPA is calling on the Department for Transport and the UK government to urgently revisit its decision and to engage with GA stakeholders without delay, as a failure to recognise GA poses a long-term threat to the sustainability of aviation here. Now, more than ever, we need to support AOPA in its mission, and that's why I'm an AOPA member. I'd love it if you join too. Flying Reporter viewers can get a discount on their first membership year by using my special link on the screen and in the video description. We were heading east away from Cambridge and we were setting up to do another approach somewhere else when something strange happened to India Victor's engine.
What was that?
No?
What? The engine just wobbled.
It didn't.
Fucking hell, where are we?
Don't worry.
Jesus. I thought it looked like the overboost flicked on, or was that just my imagination?
I was busy watching this, I don't know, so T's and P's all look good, yeah?
I don't like that. It did, didn't it? The engine did wobble.
Just cut for a second. How are we doing fuel-wise?
Well, I switched tanks, didn't I, just before?
Well, no, it was a long time ago.
The sound of the engine stuttering like that sent a burst of adrenaline coursing through my veins. While it probably doesn't sound like it on the recording, to us in the cockpit it was as if the engine had just stopped dead and then came back again. What's interesting watching this footage back is the comparison between my immediate panic, what's going on, it shouldn't do that, what are we going to do, and Nigel's calm assessment of the engine parameters. The startle factor really affected me. Now, you could perhaps put one little engine wobble down to something in the fuel, a bit of soot in one of the exhaust valves or something very minor and temporary like that. But when it happened again a few moments later, I knew I wanted to get this aeroplane safely on the ground as soon as possible.
Right. We had aux fuel, that's what lit up. Aux fuel.
Oh.
So that's what's happening. The aux fuel's coming on.
Okay.
And it's giving us a rich cut. What should we do, Nigel? I'm not happy with that.
Well, okay, let's
let me just maintain altitude for a minute.
Fine, yeah, we'll do that.
I wonder, could we go to Washington? Could we go to Elmsett?
Yeah, we'll go. What? Do you want to go to Elmsett instead?
Could we just go and have a look at it?
Yeah, we can do that. That's fine.
Because I don't fancy flying this with it like that.
All right, take the hood off then. That's fine.
All right,
Get rid of
take
that.
control for a minute.
Control. Yeah, you're right. It is, isn't it? Yeah.
Where?
Don't worry. Don't panic. Got it on here.
Looking back at this now, I'm not happy with the way I reacted. To me, there was a real danger and I was frightened. From Nigel's perspective, I think it was, well, yeah, the engine could stop, but we have loads of fields all around us. I wonder what I would have done if I'd been on my own. Would I have been able to compose myself and, if in the worst case, be able to execute a safe forced landing?
It's getting worse.
Okay.
I'll control with mixture if it goes completely.
Fine. And you go on to that heading there and to there. Okay. That's fine.
Now, where's our nearest airfield?
It's Elmsett. That's fine. Come round. Let's go. Gain a bit of height. Go for 3,000 feet.
Because the fuel pump light was coming on every time the engine stuttered, I thought it was possible that the electric fuel pump was coming on its own and thereby causing a rich cut, which is why I said I control the engine with the mixture control if the fuel pump got stuck on.
Washington Golf Bravo Mike, India Victor. Is anyone there? Appreciate a reply if you are listening in.
Watersham hasn't been responding to calls today, but from what I gather, they do actually keep a listening watch.
Golf Bravo Mike, India Victor, Watersham.
Morning Dave, Nigel here. We are diverting direct to Elmsett in the climb charge at 3,000 feet, not declaring a pan, but we've got a little issue with the engine intermittent, so we're going to do a high overhead join at Elmsett, just requesting traffic information.
Roger, I have nothing known to affect and nothing showing on radar.
Roger, thanks. Copy, Victor.
And the QNH 1014.
1014, just cross your surface wind.
Indicating 220 at 13, occasionally up to 2121.
Roger, that's fine. And if you've got no traffic, we'll do a right hand downwind runway 23 for Elmsett. Copy, Victor.
JTZ penetration is approved if required.
Roger, thanks. Copy, Victor.
Ow.
All happening today.
Oh. GPS lost now.
Of the heading.
Right to the left. Do heading or track?
Sorry, the track. Go
yeah.
for the track, right to the right. Right,
Oh, right.
Yeah, that's it. So we've got 5 miles to go, 3,000 feet. Okay, so just bring the power back and do just a gentle descent down.
Where are we? There's Watersham.
Yeah, so Headley's on the right here.
It's
so
just there, isn't
Elmsett's
it?
just right at the nose, right? So we'll just go down and round and come back in again, okay?
I'm going to take the 2-3 runway, yeah?
Yeah, 2-3 downhill, that's it. Right hand circuit.
Elmsett wasn't only the nearest suitable airfield to us, it's also where my maintenance organisation, Aero Anglia, is based. Getting it there is going to be very convenient. If there had been another suitable airfield closer, we would have gone there instead.
Down here on the right, that's it. Babe, just put the gear down, you've got low speed, that's it. Get out of the way. That's it.
Brakes, undercarriage down 3 greens, mixtures fully rich, engine temperatures and pressures, direction indicator. Landing light, straps in, doors locked.
Right then,
Yeah.
close the throttle in. Side approach.
Oh, God, I don't know, I want to do that, do I?
Yeah, go on. Off you go. Off you go, go on.
Well, really?
Yeah, go on. You got to close at some point, haven't you? That's it. Around you go. Get in flaps limit speed, that's fine.
Yeah.
It takes a bit of a leap to accept that you have a faulty engine and thereby commit to execute a glide approach, but this is exactly what we ought to be doing. We're treating this like a partial power situation. I was a bit reluctant to do it at first. We can't rely on that engine anymore, and if I was to try and make a powered approach, who knows if it would have held together all the way down to the runway.
Copy, Victor. Turning final runway 23, Elmsett.
Alright. No, I'm just warming it.
Don't worry about it. Don't put any more flaps down yet. Alright, now go for it. Yeah, point the nose down. Go on.
$500.
It's probably 3 greens.
Yeah, take the power right off and here's off.
It's off,
That's it,
yeah.
right off, yeah. Pointer before the threshold. Aim for the field down here.
Yeah, I am, yeah.
That's
Don't
it.
look at it. Doesn't look like I'm going to make it.
There you will. Yeah, you will. That's it. Nice and easy now. There you go.
Okay.
Whoa. And Indivic's on the ground. Thanks, Dave. And we'll call you if we need to.
To be honest, though, I don't think this is going to be a quick fix, is it?
I don't think it is. No. unless they can. Well, it might be a short on the wire. It could be anything.
Yeah.
Couldn't it? So yeah, super job.
Okay. That's eventful. Well, you've probably had loads of engine failures. It's like,
No,
no, I really don't want
I've had one partial failure.
Yeah.
Partial failure. Yeah. On takeoff. That's all.
That's all.
That's all. Yeah.
And so to the conclusion, what was causing the engine to stutter? Well, first I spoke to Aero Anglia, they came up with some ideas, and then I reviewed the footage from the flight, and it was then that I saw it.
It's a really interesting thing because we thought we had, basically what was happening at the time was the fuel pump light was coming. And I thought maybe there's this problem with the fuel pump switch, and maybe maybe it's going into boost. We don't use the electric fuel pump in flight on the turbo Aero. It will run rough if you did so. It's too rich. So I thought that was happening. Then Aidan at Aero Anglia said, I think it's the primer switch, because what happens if the primer goes on, it cuts the fuel to the injectors and diverts it through another pipe into the primer pipe, directly into the cylinders, a lot of fuel. And that sort of makes sense. And also we noticed that the fuel flow meter was literally going to zero. You'd think if the pump was coming on, it would either stay the same or increase, but it was snapping to zero. And yeah, Aidan worked it out, primer. So we were thinking we've got a primer switch fault. And then I looked at the footage again, and every time the engine quit, Nigel had his hand on the instrument panel, right by where the primer switch is. So what's happening? Because of the touchscreen 650, he's bracing his hand on the instrument panel, and his knuckle is nudging the primer switch and basically switching the primer on, thus cutting the engine. So that was interesting. At least we knew we didn't have a problem with the aircraft. It was operator error, so to speak. None of us could believe it. None of us could believe it could be something as simple as that. And it turns out the primer switch is very sensitive, very sensitive. It takes a millimetre of movement and it works. So we're thinking that, or I'm thinking I'm probably going to get some kind of shroud to stop it being accidentally triggered. And also we've been thinking about, well, what would we do if that happened again? If it did reoccur in flight and we couldn't stop it, what would we do? And we just thought, well, we'll turn the power off. Or Nigel said, you just turn the power off, turn the master switch off. There's no electrics. It won't operate. So it was a really interesting thing, because it's made us sort of think about problem solving, and also it's made me look at how I reacted in flight to that situation. I feel as if I was a bit embarrassing. It was like an instant sort of knee-jerk, sort of stunned shock, rather than a cool. I just know how badly the Aero glides. Also the fear of not knowing where I was, being in cloud, having the hood on, and I suppose that's a good thing to be aware of, is that if I'm in cloud, making a safe forced landing is hard, isn't it? But not knowing where I am, especially, so not being able to sort of find my way somewhere or see where, I just couldn't get the iPad to come on to see where I was. Obviously Nigel knew where we were, so he was able to direct us. But very, very interesting. And when I got on the ground after it, at that point thinking we had an engine problem, I was actually quite shaken up. I was a little bit jittery. I was definitely not going to fly that aeroplane that day again. So yeah, a very, very interesting example.
I suppose that none of us really knows how we're going to react to situations like this until we're facing them for real. I hope that should I face a similar situation again in the future, or even a worse situation than this one, I'll be able to keep myself composed and respond confidently without the panic or a rush to a judgment or a decision.
See my cockpit edition? I know.
My instrument training continued the next day, and I eventually fitted a shroud around the primer switch to prevent the primer from being accidentally activated in flight. It seemed like a cheap and simple solution that so far worked very well indeed. Thank you for watching this video and my debrief. Please subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in a fortnight for the next episode. Fly safely, my friends.